Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're diving into something pretty interesting today. Paradox. Those ideas that seem to contradict each other, but the cool thing is they might actually point us towards some pretty big spiritual insights.
Yeah, it's like we usually see paradoxes as like problems to be solved.
Right, like we got to figure them out.
Exactly. But what if like leaning into that tension actually leads us somewhere deeper?
Okay, so we're not just putting up with a paradox or like quickly trying to make it make sense. We're talking about really embracing it.
Right. It's like recognizing that two things that seem like total opposites can actually both be true at the same time.
Hmm. Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. But, some folks might say that embracing a paradox is just a way to avoid actually like figuring things out.
It's not about avoiding the hard work, though. It's more like realizing that sometimes our brains just can't wrap themselves around everything.
Yeah, like sometimes the more we try to force an answer, the further away we get from the truth.
Exact.
So let's get down to brass tacks. Our sources talk about this thing called the God
Oh,
experience,
yeah, that's a good one.
and they describe it as this, like, descent into darkness.
But at the same time, it's also like this feeling of being totally grounded and held.
Whoa, that's a pretty wild paradox.
It is, but it shows us how embracing the stuff we don't know can lead to a sense of security and support.
It's like letting go of control and, like, trusting in something bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of our sources uses this really powerful phrase from Hebrews, says, falling into the hands of the living God.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That one really messes with our logical thinking. Like, how do we even start to understand something like that?
Honestly, I think it's one of those things you can only really grasp through experience. Tons of mystics and spiritual teachers have tried to put it into words,
Right?
but words can only take you so far. It's like, how do you explain the taste of chocolate to someone who's never tried it?
I love that. So we've been talking about embracing paradoxes, but our sources also spend a lot of time on this idea of mystery as potential. What's that all about?
Think of it like a tiny seed.
Okay.
It's like super small, but it's got this crazy potential to become a whole tree, right?
Right.
A mystery isn't just something we don't know, it's a source of like infinite possibilities.
I like that. So how do we actually cultivate that, like that mindset of seeing mystery as potential in our own lives?
Well, it starts with curiosity, being willing to ask questions even if you don't get answers right away. And it takes patience, for sure. Our sources are pretty clear that spiritual growth, it's a journey, not a destination.
So it sounds like a lot of it comes down to like changing the way we think. Instead of always needing to know everything for sure, we got to get comfortable with the unknown.
Totally. And that's where this thing called non-dual thinking comes in.
Okay.
It's about understanding how everything's connected rather than like splitting the world up into good and bad or right and wrong.
I can see how having a spiritual guide or even just a friend who gets this stuff could be really helpful.
Oh, for sure. Having someone who's further along on the path, they can offer support, encouragement, and share insights from their own experiences.
So basically, a paradox isn't something to be scared of or try to avoid. It's a chance to understand things on a deeper level. It's got all this potential packed inside, and it can help us grow spiritually.
Yeah. And I think maybe the biggest takeaway here is that the journey is just as important as where you end up.
Hmm, I like that a lot. So to everyone listening out there, I want to leave you with a question. What paradox in your own life might be holding the key to understanding yourself or, like, the whole world around you better? Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.